so we don't have to do it with our... You ready? Mr. Kaczmarek, call the meeting to order, please.
Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for September the 16th, 2010 to order. On roll call, Council members Caramagna here, Castiglia is absent, Chawinski here.
He's still on vacation, excuse me.
Fonsino here. Work here. Convoy here. Mayor Mullen
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for a prayer and flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting with your trust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our heart and plant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires the commencement of each meeting a statement by the presiding officer, now therefore be advised the meeting requirements of this meeting have been met by posting an annual notice in the Record in the Hackensack and the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in the public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice has been posted on January 1, 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being videoed, and it'll be on Channel 77, Monday at 12 noon, Wednesday at 3 p.m., and Thursday at 4 p.m. Or you can watch it on our web at www.elmwoodparknj.us. At this time, we have some young ladies who are great softball players, and they've had a great year this year. Their record was 16-0, and we have a few of the coaches here. I wonder if they can come up, and Brenda Hoffman is here, who does everything with the girls softball for it's about 200 years now, right, Brenda? Only 40. They have their trophies with them, and why don't we have them stand up here? Will all the girls come up and just speak into the microphone and give us your name, okay? Will all the girls come up and stand here and then walk around the microphone and give us your name?
Mr. Ballesteros, you're not a girl. You're not a girl. Oh.
That's right, the lectern. All of you stand here before we start giving the names. Let everybody come up.
Juliana Parisi. Oh my God. Anna Bertino.
You know what? You can pull that down. There you go.
Alyssa Valdez. Alicia Rodriguez. Victoria Suhu. Brittany Matsko. Victoria Baumgartner. Paige Minogue. Brianna Carawalla. Desiree Ballesteros. Alexandra Minogue. Victoria Stack. Megan Ritz.
Okay, young ladies, will you please just line up in the front here? The video's there. They want to see you on television, so just stand in line and look at the cameras. Now, will one of the coaches please give us additional information? Sandy?
Wait, Mayor, I'm sure that they would love to take a picture with you as well if they can.
I have some certificates for them.
Okay. Our season was a fantastic season. We were 14-0. We went into playoffs. We won the playoffs. We ended up at 16-0. So the girls did a phenomenal job. They're really, really very dedicated athletes. And I have to say, though, we would never have done this without Bob Unger and Brenda Hoffman. They've had this league going for 40 years. We're in our 40th year. I'd like to give them a hand. They do a fantastic job, and it's been a pleasure working with them all these years. Not 40, but several years. We continue to work with them. And again, we appreciate that the Mayor and Council takes the time to recognize the girls because I really feel that this is a wonderful time and they really deserve that. because they've worked very, very hard. So thank you to the mayor and council also.
Now, if I may, girls, if you will, I've got mayor's certificates for each one of you, and I thought it would be raining, so I have an envelope behind it. I'm going to give all these to Mrs. Ballesteri, and she'll pass them out to you because they're not in any particular order. And I want to congratulate all of you. You did a great job. 16-0. If anybody wants to go to the Yankees and see Girardi and tell them how to get that team moving again, I think you should do that. So let me just pass these down, and you can give them out, and you have an opportunity, and they can put it in. Sure.
It's the front page.
Mayor, you're going to make Facebook. Mayor, who thought you'd be on Facebook? They're putting that on Facebook. Take care, Joe.
He was just trying to drive it down from Massachusetts. Maybe he's in the center with the tree.
Just another one, big round of applause for all these young ladies. Is there any councilman who wishes to elaborate? Okay, thank you.
Great job.
I'm here as director of the Facebook.
Keith?
Mayor, tonight under the approval of minutes, we have the executive session for August the 5th, 2010, the regular meeting of August 19th, 2010, and the executive session of September 2nd, 2010.
May I have a motion for all three, please? Moved by Mr. Conboy. Second by Mr. Work. Mr. Work. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Mayor, this evening under ordinances, under first reading, we have Resolution 243-10, introduced ordinance 10-17 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the improvement on Kif Avenue, Section 3, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $247,000 to pay the cost thereof, and to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, and to amend bond ordinance number 08-9 adopted on June 19, 2008, and bond ordinance 09-18 adopted on September 19, 2009. Be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on this ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, October 17, 2010 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, Mr. Boncino, any discussion? Ladies and gentlemen, this bond ordinance is covered by the Bergen County Community Development. It's a grant that comes from the federal government to the county, and it's to us to pave and put the new water line in, increase the water pressure along Kip Avenue. It's section 3 that we're doing, and we're going to continue until we finish the whole street with the new water line and help pressurize with more water through the entire area. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia is absent. Chawinski.
Yes.
Alcino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under resolutions under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 244-10, payment of bills, Resolution 245-10, confirmation of checks, Resolution 246-10, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 247-10, approve the annual report of audit for the year 2009, Resolution 248-10, refund permits from the building department, Resolution 249-10, appoint volunteer firefighter Ryan Nielsen, Resolution 250-10, appoint volunteer firefighter Jason Taylor. Resolution 251-10, authorize the Chief Financial Officer to receive 3 written quotes for dental benefits. Resolution 252-10, approve junk car auction. Resolution 253-10, approve coin toss for the Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Resolution 254-10, redeem third-party tax lien, Robert Rothman. And Resolution 255-10, renew plenary retail liquor license, JGL Entertainment.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Chawinski, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call on the consent agenda, council members Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia is absent. Chawinski.
Yes.
Alcino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Under resolutions this evening, we have Resolution 256-10. Whereas the Borough of Elmwood Park wishes to replace its existing phone system, and whereas the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council adopted Resolution 194-10 at their regular meeting of June 24, 2010, granting a contract in the amount of $29,657 to Xtel Communications of North Haledon, New Jersey. And whereas modifications have been made to the project and additional equipment has been deemed necessary to properly complete the project and provide the borough staff with the needed resources. Whereas Xtel Communications, Inc. has provided a revised price of $33,157 under state contract A42291, and whereas funds have been allocated via bond ordinance 06-9 and 06-30 and other funding sources as listed below. Ordinance 06-9, $25,171.18. Ordinance 06-30, $4,485.82. Recreation Trust Fund, $2,460. And budgeted phone line item, $1,040. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park hereby award the contract for the Toshiba CIX 100 digital telephone system to Xtel Communications, Inc., 830 Belmont Avenue, North Haledon, New Jersey, 07508 under state contract number A42291. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be provided to Xtel Communications of North Haledon, New Jersey, and be it further resolved that Resolution 194-10 be and is hereby rescinded.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino, second.
Second.
Mr. Work, discussion? Call the roll, please.
Council members Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia is absent. Chawinski.
Yes.
Alcino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 257-10, whereas the Borough of Elmwood Park maintains a water system serving properties located in the Borough of Elmwood Park, and whereas an emergency has occurred whereby a leak has been discovered in the borough-owned 12-inch water main that runs in the water easement behind buildings between Main Street and Lily Arts Lane. And whereas, as a result of the water leak, emergency repairs are required so as to protect the health and safety of borough residents and protect property within the borough from possible contamination or damage. And whereas an estimate for the work has been received from J. Fletcher Kramer and Son, the borough's emergency contractor, in the amount not to exceed $7,500. And whereas this estimate for work was reviewed by the borough engineer and he has determined that the estimate is reasonable and given the scope of the required repair, and the vendor has experience and expertise necessary to effectuate the required repair. And whereas the borough attorney has rendered an opinion that the borough has given the significant risk posed to person and property, and the quote in the amount of $7,500 for the making of the emergency repairs, the same would represent an exception to the local public contracts law. And whereas the borough, based on the opinion of the borough attorney, has concluded that the award of a purchase order to the vendor would be subject to local public contracts law as being specifically exempt therefrom pursuant to NJSA 40A:11. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that it does agree that an emergency situation does exist and does therefore authorize the emergency award of purchase order contract to J. Fletcher Kramer and Son in accordance with NJSA 40A:11-6, subject to the certification of funds for such purchase order.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Chouwinski, second.
Second.
Mr. Conboy, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Katamanya.
Yes.
Castiglia is absent. Chouwinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 258-10, whereas Boswell Engineering has submitted a proposal for the preparation of construction plans and specifications and providing construction inspections for Kip Avenue, Section 3. And whereas Boswell Engineering will perform the services outlined in the proposal for an estimated fee not to exceed $20,000 for the design phase and $23,000 for the construction phase. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that Boswell McClave Engineering be and is hereby authorized to perform the necessary engineering services for the improvements to Kip Avenue, Section 3.
Motion, please. Mr. Monsino, second.
Second.
Mr. Work, discussion? Call the
Yeah,
roll, please.
Mayor, how much is the entire job?
The entire job is, we're getting about $210,000 from the county, and then we have to pay for the engineer.
I tell you, I don't know. My feelings are the price is a little bit too high for the engineer. Why can't we have one day our own engineer? Maybe employ one engineer full time here. Maybe it'd be cheaper for us.
Maybe.
Save money.
Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Katamanya.
No.
Castiglia is absent. Chouwinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, under departmental reports tonight, we have the report from the municipal court, police department, and the building department.
Motion receive and file.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Conboy and Mr. Work. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Committee reports, Mr. Katamanya?
Yes, Mayor. The school uniform. I think it's an excellent idea. It's working really good. The kids look neat, clean. I'm very happy with that. And many people are happy with that. I think it's a good idea because now, and also people complain. I think they look nice, organized. We don't have to see kids with the baggy pants, dropping the pants. It was embarrassing. We don't see that anymore. I see much difference in the school this year. I see also the lunchroom are much quieter. I think they're separating the middle school with the high school. They have two different rooms. And it's much quieter, more organized than it was last year. So last year I had a lunchroom. I was going crazy. They would drive me crazy. The noise was so much. And now I can see the difference. It's really better. Also, the hallways are very quiet. You don't find many kids knocking on teacher's door and disturbing constantly like it was last year. I think these two security guards are doing a good job. They keep the kids, as soon as the bell rings, they keep the kids out of the building as fast as possible. Also, the true officer. Many people tell me we must have a lot of illegal students in school. Well, I asked him that question. He say, as of last week, he caught 12 illegal students. That means saves a lot of money for us. He's done a good job. 2 of the kids were kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Mr. Tomko made many changes in the structure of education in our school. We used to have supervisors. Now we eliminate the supervisors, but you appoint them in different places where they are able to do a better job. And this was a good idea. Things are much more organized. The atmosphere teaching feel more relaxed, and they teach better. That's the way I feel. And also, Mr. Tomko is very visible in school. You see him count on high school, where before, really, not to criticize Mr. Casapula, but he used to come maybe once or twice a year to wish us Merry Christmas and a Happy Easter. Mr. Tomko, I see frequently walk around this classroom and stick his head inside, and he's visible. The superintendent is doing a good job. Also, Mr. Warner is doing a good job. There's a zero tolerance if the kids make a mistake. Maybe it's the beginning, but it shows he's doing a very good job. Things are very calm. Teachers feel relaxed. I talked to many of them, and they feel much better than last year. I know the classes are crowded. I have students. I have 3 classes, 30 kids in each class. One is a little bit less, and one is a small, that's the advanced class. Overall, the school looks better, the kids look better, and I'm very happy, and many people feel the same way. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I have to agree with you on the uniforms. I've spoken to quite a few parents and students, and they seem to like it. I was an educator for 39 years, and I've been advocating for uniforms other than parochial schools for 39 years. I thought it would be good for the kids, and it would be good for the parents. Every morning's not a hassle. And from what I can hear from, as I said, the parents and the kids, it's going over pretty good. It's not a uniform like the military. It's a little bit flexible, and they seem to like it. And Mr. Caramagna, about finding some of these students who are not from the district, we do have an ordinance, we do have a law, the school knows about it. Anybody in a 2-family home has to come in with the certification indicating that they're not illegal, that it's been rented to them and so forth, all through our building department. So I'm glad they're working on that, and that certainly helps us. I believe the cost, and I could be corrected on this, but the cost for a per pupil for education is about $14,000-$15,000. So if you catch 10 kids, it's $140,000 you save. Thank you,
May
Mr.
I like to add something else? My daughter called me up. I think she wasn't able to make it. There is a complaint about crossing guard, 54th Street. Now my granddaughter takes a bus to school, and they find it very dangerous. Maybe you should do something about this.
Well, we're going to have, I'm sure we're going to have some discussion here this evening.
Well,
Yes,
I took my daughter's words.
Okay.
She was able to make it tonight.
Mr. Chewinski?
Yes, Mayor. First, I'd like to say congratulations to the girls' softball team on their victory. I attended the Chiefs meeting. They were headed for the convention on Thursday, as you know, till Sunday. Garfield and Fairlawn, the skeleton crew were covering the town. I'd also like to say thanks to Scott. I know Larry's not here. A lot of the broken fire hydrants have been repaired that were out of service. The high school is planning a bonfire for October 15th, and they put into the fire marshal for that. Our new radio, our second backup radio, is working at the building now as of last week, I think it is. And we're going to reprogram for the fire department some of the police bands so the fire department can be in on their calls without having to call a separate band. On another note, I attended the insurance JIF meeting. The claims over the last 2 months seem to have dwindled down a little, but there are still some ridiculous claims out there. Every time a broken sidewalk is, someone falls in town on a broken sidewalk, not only does the homeowner get sued, but the town gets sued also. The insurance company defends the town at a cost of usually $7,000 to $8,000 just for the attorney. Usually, we pass it back to the resident who's responsible. But if anybody has broken sidewalks that are badly out of elevation from the other one, they should repair them, because this is about the 5th one that came up at the JIF meeting. On another note, Mayor, I attended the freeholder meeting last night. And I always come there and I bring back the report so people can see how your money is being spent at the freeholder level. Very, very, very interesting. The amount of money being spent on certain lawyers and certain things. Big topic last night, the BCIA with their 65 count indictment. Also on this list is the more money to Overpeck Park, which is a big topic of the mayor's, which costs the taxpayers right now over $100 million at Richfield Park. There's another one here on page 12, just for another engineering study. Mayor, when I show you this one, you're going to have a heart attack. Other than that, that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. I agree with the Overpeck Park. I don't know where it's going. I don't know how they're even going to keep it clean now. It's such a big park and with the 2% cap.
Just for example, Mayor, this one here is $48,000 contracted to RSC Architectural and Engineering Services for the comfort station, which is the rest areas, at the Henry Hook area and tennis court upgrade, just to do the architectural work to go over it at Overpeck Park, $48,800. That's not doing the work.
Thank you.
The list here that goes endless.
Mr. Work, Councilman Work.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. The Elmwood Park Health Department still continue offering the free clinics to the residents of Elmwood Park. These clinics are the Adult Consultation Clinic and the Child Health Clinic. The Adult Consultation Clinic basically includes consultation with a registered nurse from Hackensack Hospital, and allows you to go get you a free blood pressure screening. Also, on this adult consultation, walk-in residents are welcome. No appointments are required, and these clinics are held every third Tuesday of each month. The next date for this free clinic is September 21st. The next clinic is the Child Health Clinic. This clinic includes free immunizations for infants up to 18 years old. Pediatrician and registered nurse are on site. This is for well children without health insurance coverage and those not enrolled in New Jersey Family Care. This is by appointment only. You should call the Board of Health. The phone number is 201-796-1072. The upcoming dates for those clinics are October 4th, 2010, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's a Monday, and October 7th, 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thursday. Also, the Elmwood Park, in addition, the Elmwood Park Department of Health has also enrolled as a provider at the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. And this is a program that provides 6 critical vaccines for any citizen in New Jersey. The Elmwood Park is offering these vaccines at no charge. And currently, the Board of Health has 4 of these vaccines available today. The 4 vaccines that are available are Pneumovax, which is a vaccine used for pneumonia prevention, Gardasil, which is a vaccine used to prevent HPV, Menactra, which is the vaccine used for prevention of meningitis, and Adasol, which is prevention of tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis, whooping cough. And these vaccines are made, and these vaccines will be made available during the adult consultation and child health clinics. And once again, you can call Debbie Ritchie at 201-796-1072 to make an appointment. Now, as you know, the flu season is coming upon us, and the Elmwood Park Board of Health will again be offering flu shots starting in October. The upcoming dates for those flu shots is October 12th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., October 18th, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and October 19th from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And pre-registration is required for that first date. The flu shots will be given here at the Elmwood Park Municipal Building in the Health Department. And unlike last year, there will be plenty of flu vaccine available for the flu season. Just to go over that flu shot a little bit more, this is not a traditional flu shot that will be given out this year. This one shot will actually protect you against the swine flu and 2 other types of influenza. So you're actually getting a little bit more potent flu shot this year. They basically protect you against the H1N1, H3N2, and influenza. And for the first time, the Health Department is recommending a stronger variation is available for residents age 65 and older. So this will be available for senior citizens. They are recommending that they get the shots this year. The charge for these flu shots will be $25 for participants from 18 to 64 years old. And for participants 65 years of age and older, will be free with proof of the Medicare B coverage. So if you do have Medicare B coverage, please bring your card when you come here. And like I said, for more information about these free clinics, free vaccinations, and flu shots, you can call the Elmwood Park Board of Health. And that number, once again, is 201-796-1092. And also, the Elmwood Park Homeowners Association will be holding their next meeting on September 29th at 7:30 p.m. at the American Legion. Please use the side entrance. That's where they hold their meetings, in the back. And apparently they're going to have a presentation on identity theft and internet safety. And I'd also like to congratulate the Elmwood Park girls softball team on their undefeated season. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Word. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know anybody 65 or older, the shots are no cost. Please have them come, get the shots. It's available to them, and they should make use of it. As a former history teacher, I just want to mention this. I mention it any time I see somebody when we talk about the flu. Influenza, World War I, more people died in Europe and the United States that were killed in the war. It was into the millions that were dying from influenza, and that's the flu, as we know. So anybody who's a little older, please go down and have them get a flu shot. I think it's most important. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Worthy. Mr. Conboy?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd just like to just make a comment on something, a local issue here today. In town, not really an issue, I'm sorry, take that back. But, we all know what these economical times are to all of our families and relatives and everybody. We all see it every day. Of course, our local businesses are constantly trying to find new ways to reinvent themselves, coming up with, whether it's a restaurant, a creative discounted economy menu or something else, or the bagel store, by this time you get extra bagels and everything else. I just want to comment on one of our business owners here in town who has been working, as they all work, very hard, but it was nice to see a lot of his efforts bring a lot of good news for him. But our Parkway bowling lanes, we all remember the previous owner George had passed away. The alley had sat quiet for a while. A gentleman by the name of Marty Venero had come in, took over the lanes, tried to revamp the whole place. If you go past by any time now, you see it's fully packed. And his efforts have really paid off for him. In the August issue of Inside New Jersey magazine, Parkway Lanes was named as the best bowling center in the state of New Jersey. Also, he has just recently last year I reported here that he had gotten approval from the NCAA, which is the college level, to host their regional championships, and he just got approved by the Professionals Bowler Association to host regional championships here, which would be great for the community because that would mean that those bowlers would be coming here, staying in the local hotels, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really great thing for Elmwood Park, and I just wanted to recognize him for all of his hard efforts. They're working very hard over there. His hope is to someday have to expand on that piece of property over there. So he's working really hard. So that's on that note. On the finance front, the mayor, our CFO, Mr. Rigatano, has completed a couple of phases of our steps towards our 2011 budget. One step of it was completing the governor's toolbox list questionnaire, which the mayor and council had an opportunity to review. With that, as we begin to move forward to our next budget cycle, today I spoke with the CFO and also with the clerk about possibly bringing back Mr. Lurch back in to continue to input numbers as we begin to continue doing our work on it, so that we are prepared for whatever else may come down the road. So that continues to be a very hard process, very difficult process, but I think one of the bonuses that's worked for us is that we've been well ahead of the curve, meeting together and tackling these issues as we come along and have made some decisions. I also want to just give a compliment to our clerk. We've been working here at Borough Hall and many of our departments, DPW and so forth, and here and at the Recreation Center everywhere throughout the municipality. We have not filled positions. I think if you add up all the positions, we're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 or 17 jobs that we've never filled, and our clerk did a really nice job putting together an outline of having to shift people around to help meet those needs of our department. So I just want to again thank them for all that hard work you put into that. On a recreational front, we're going to continue trying to want to tell the parents that they're here, or though they will catch this on TV or on the internet. We're trying to be more aggressive this year with the flyers that go home. We have a lot of parents have told us that our child doesn't get the flyer, or maybe the children wasn't paying attention. We find out later on that the teacher will hold them up in the classroom and say, "Who would like information on soccer or information on this?" And the child only comes up and gets it only if they want it. So not every child is going to come up. Obviously, they're busy doing other things in the classroom. So we want to be a little more different with that information. Something that the rec has been working on, our recreation director, is looking into, if you recall, I had mentioned to everyone, we have this online registration feature that we put in place a few months back. It has worked out to be very successful. 90% of the registrations that are now coming in for all of our sports programs, our recreation programs, is well over 90% is coming in through that way. And for those families who don't have internet or a computer, as you know, we've set up stations for them at the rec center, and that is going very, very well. And we're going to try to capitalize on that information and begin sending out emails to the parents and notices of upcoming events through that new system that we put in place several months ago, so that they are on top of everything that's going on, plus continue to feed the information. I don't know how many people know this, but on our website there's a recreation link with all updated flyers and so forth to make that process a lot easier. Another item that has been discussed for a long time, which the Recreation Commission, as well, along with our Recreation Director, Ms. Pugliese, are exploring the options of looking into one of those digital boards that would be somewhere located on the boulevard on both sides, that would, larger size digital signs that would show upcoming events and so forth. They're exploring the options. They're not cheap. They are expensive, but they are looking to explore those options if it can be done. So just some other things I want to update everybody on the recreation area. Also, if you hadn't had a chance, the hut now is completed. That top-notch construction did it. That the owner of that company donated a lot of his time and materials to that project. We want to thank them. We will at a later date. But it looks great. So if you've seen the hut, 75% of it's been rehabbed, and they'll finish the football side when football season's over. Again, a nice job by our rec director and the commission for moving on that. I would also like to congratulate the girls softball team. 16-0 is not easy, especially when you start getting undefeated. Every win gets even tougher. Everybody wants to knock off an undefeated team, so nice job. And I want to congratulate our EP high school team with their opening season win, and the Bombers last weekend had a great weekend. So congratulations to all those football teams. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Conboy. Mr. Boncino?
Yes, Mayor. I guess first a couple of items from our ambulance corps. As a fundraiser for this year, they're going to be starting a car raffle, which will begin on October 1st. Again, it's a fundraiser, and they'll be raffling off a Camaro. So we support that endeavor. And another event with the ambulance corps is their annual haunted house, and that'll be at the ambulance corps building on October 30th and 31st. As we get closer, I'll fine-tune the times for everybody. On a related note, the county will be hosting a public safety expo on Saturday, October 2nd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that'll be held at the County Law and Public Safety Institute in Mahwah. There'll be live fire demonstrations, law enforcement demonstrations, emergency response drills. They're going to have a Coast Guard helicopter rescue, SWAT team and K-9 team demonstrations, bomb squad demonstrations, and special guests include Otto the Auto, McGruff the crime-fighting dog, and Sparky the fire dog. So if you have a free Saturday, you might want to hop in there. On the energy front, as I've reported, we are purchasing our gas and electric as commodities through the buying power of the New Jersey Send, and we're realizing on the commodities a savings on average of about 4%. We completed the installation of energy-efficient lighting in all our municipal buildings, this building, the rec center, the DPW, and the library. And in the future, we'll be exploring alternative sources of energy, such as solar and wind power, and looking at whether or not they would be a cost-effective implementation here in the borough. So we'll have more information on that as we progress through the year. I'd like to wish all our students who are returning to school a successful academic year. I would especially like to wish the best of luck to our seniors on their college search process for whatever course they're charting for their futures. It's a big year for them and a lot of changes on the way, I'm sure. And finally, I'd like to congratulate our girls softball team on their undefeated season. I coached girls softball back in the day, and I think those were the years that my hair turned white. So.
Thank you. Just a couple items. We're beginning, all of you who came to the municipal building today for this meeting, see the equipment we have in the yard. That's part of our 2010 road program. We're going to be repaving the municipal parking lot, plus some streets around town. Please excuse the work that's going in. We'll try to do as quickly and as cleanly as possible. It's much needed, and we're trying to get as many bad streets as possible. Whenever I'm around town, the question I get asked most often is, when are you going to do our street? We're trying to do the worst ones first, and we're trying to spread it around so that it's not all in one district. This year we are applying to the county the state, for the grant to finish Molnar Drive. Molnar Drive, I think you all agree, is very well done from about East 54th Street down to Saddlebrook. Well, we're going to try to get it from East 54th Street to the boulevard, and if we have any money left over, we're also applying it to the boulevard itself, where we stalled some of the repaving on the boulevard. We're going to reinstitute that and finish that project. So please bear with us on that. We pay for that. That's out of our tax dollar for the road program that we do. The Molnar Drive is state, and the CD money we talked about, Kip Avenue, that's county and federal money. So we are continually applying for outside money to help us with our road program. And to comment on Mr. Comboy's statement, this council has been ahead of the curve for the last few years. People who retire, people who leave for whatever reason, are not being replaced either here in the DPW, the secretarial staff, and we're about bare bones. I don't know how much lower we can get. We are using people in different offices to help out, and we'll see where we go. We're going to still have to cut the budget next year, but we're going to be working on that. So I thank you. I'd like to now open the meeting to the public. May I just ask a question? Is there anyone here who is going to speak about crossing guards? Okay, before you can come up. Laurie, would you please get the police chief for us? He's in Roy's office, so he can hear everything. Name and address for our...
Arlene Perna Woodman, 1 Paul Court, and tonight I am speaking solely as a citizen. First of all, I'd like to...
Board of Education.
Not as a Board of Education.
No, but you are, and I like to...
But I am, but I'm speaking solely my own opinion as a citizen. I want to congratulate the softball team. I think it's just a great thing for our town, and they did such a nice job. And I am very appreciative of the road work that's been done on Molnar Drive. Thank you, God. It's a beautiful street, and it's very well done. But I would like to address the fact that 11 crossing guards were eliminated. And I have nothing against the police department. I think our officers, I think our police department does a fine job. However, I feel that this was a very dangerous decision and a very poor decision, and it's putting the safety of our children at risk. And most of the people, I don't know how many people are here, know that they know me because I walk on 54th Street every morning with my dogs. I've been doing that for years, 20 years or so. And I am very well aware of the job that the crossing guards do. And that big red octagonal stop sign is so important at the intersections on East 54th Street. I mean, how many times have I seen motorists try to pass school buses? How many times, I might ask people, do motorists stop for pedestrians at the pedestrians walk? I mean, I've been walking for years, and I can count on my 10 fingers how many times a motorist has actually stopped for me. And, I'm a senior citizen, and they don't even stop for me. And I just feel that the crossing guards and their stop signs are preventing and have prevented a lot of possible accidents. And in this week's community news, which I just got today, there was an article about new school safety, a new school safety campaign in New Jersey, and I'd just like to quote. It says, 19 children between the ages of 5 and 15 were killed and 2,000 injured in pedestrian and motor vehicle-related crashes between 2007 and 2009 in New Jersey. And I forgot to mention, I do realize the problem with the budget. I realize probably better than anyone. But I just feel that this is just a very poor decision. And also in the community news, it mentioned that 10 guards were axed. Now, I received a letter from the Elmer Park Police Department written to the Elmer Park Board of Education, and it was received September 8th at the superintendent's office. And September 8th was the very first day of school. And it mentioned that it listed eliminated posts. Now, there were 11 eliminated posts according to this letter. The newspaper said there were 10. And there were 7 existing posts. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts were eliminated on East 54th Street. 1 post was eliminated on Market Street and Opal Avenue. Which, I mean, I think that's crazy. But out of the 7 remaining, we have 1 on Market Street, which is at St. Leo's School. And as I said, they took away the one at Opal Avenue, which I don't understand. There are 2 left at the Boulevard, 1 at 16th and Boulevard, 1 at Gilbert and Boulevard, and 0, nada, on East 54th Street. And I live near the intersection of Lincoln and East 54th. And I can attest that this is a very dangerous street, East 54th Street. Number 1, there are cars parked, which there are obstructions when you want to cross the street. There is a wooded area that is, during the spring and the fall, causes a lot of shade, and you can't always see oncoming cars. There are hundreds of commercial vehicles, trucks, tractor trailers that are traveling down East 54th Street to go to the industrial area, which is right off East 54th Street. I mean, I hold my breath when I walk across that street, or even when I drive across the street. How can we expect kindergarten students and elementary students to cross that very dangerous street without a crossing guard, without any crossing guards? I'm just asking you to please try to reconsider this, and for the safety of our students, and let's not put our kids at risk. So please consider reinstating this, especially reinstating the crossing guards, and especially on East 54th Street.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Anyone else who wish to speak? Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Bill Murphy, Ackerman Avenue. I got a 9-year-old, walks 4 blocks to school every day. I just want to ask each and every one of you, your youngest child, and how many blocks they walk to school every day. Frank? Your youngest child is how old? My son is 9 and he walks 4 blocks. Your youngest child?
My granddaughter.
Oh, granddaughter.
Granddaughter's 6.
Granddaughter, Maribel, your youngest child?
My youngest child?
Yeah,
She doesn't go to school.
right.
16.
How old?
16.
And how many blocks does she walk to
Takes the
school?
train to Jersey City.
Okay. Your youngest child?
10,
And how many blocks does he walk to school?
less than 100 feet.
Okay, that's good. And,
Well, my youngest is 22, and he's finished.
okay. Chief?
I don't think
Chief?
that.
Yeah, Chief, your youngest child?
We know where you're going. Just
Okay.
continue where you're going.
Okay. So I'm the only one here with a 9-year-old that walks
We
4
all had
blocks.
9-year-olds at some point.
And were there crossing guards back then, Mayor Mullen?
Were there?
Yes.
I would suspect so.
Okay. So what makes your child more important than mine?
Well, we're going to have the chief answer all those questions.
Chief?
No, I would like the chief to listen to everybody, and then he can respond to everybody instead of...
Okay. And Chief, can I just ask your youngest child?
He's a police officer, so he's...
Yes, I know. Mayor, I know. I've lived here 33 years myself. And there were always crossing guards when I was here. I just don't understand where where you cut for my child, 9 years old, when we all had him. Who came up with this brainstorm that their kids were more important than mine? That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Carol Pincaldo, 2 Paul Court. I don't have...
Could you repeat your name?
Pincaldo. Want me to spell it?
No, that's okay.
I don't have much to add, as Mrs. Redmond Perna really said everything. I think that was mostly our concerns. I personally have children standing on East 54th Street. My 2 sons, they are all I care about. And I ask on East 54th and Lincoln or Paul Court, whatever the stop is, to kindly please put a guard there. Have a police officer stand there for 15 minutes. Some people argue it's our responsibility for the safety of our children, and of course it is. That is my primary focus in life, my children and their safety. I'm a working mother. I travel in the city. I live in Elmwood Park. I take the trains. Huge feature to live in this town. Yet, when I'm on that train, 6:30 in the morning, I have to worry that my children have to cross East 54th Street. Are they on the bus? Every day I hold my breath till I get that call. At 3 o'clock, I can't leave my office. I can't come back to Elmwood Park and cross them. I can't ask my parents, 90 years old, to please stand on the corner and help me. People work. We work. We are all affected by this economy. I personally haven't had a raise in 3 years. I'm just wondering if maybe there's some other consideration that you could have thought of and maybe saved a few of these positions, especially on East 54th Street. This is such a huge safety issue, and if you live it and breathe it every day, you'll know what I mean. Just stand there in the morning. Come on down. I invite everybody to stand there and just see what we're talking about. And I hope that you can help us. I really do. You represent us, and we put our faith in you, and I really hope that you take this and consider what else you can do to help us.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Carmen Alvarez. I live
Pull that
at
microphone down a little bit.
61 Hamilton Avenue. It's my first time at one of the meetings, but I travel every day through 54th Avenue, and it's no joy. The speeding cars, the reckless drivers that will not stop at a stop sign, it is unbelievable. And it's from Route 4 all the way down to Market Street. It is horrible. Not only that, when the children lose their school bus and they stand in a corner crying, they're all alone. There are no parents there. There's no cross guard. I have picked up children and taken them last year, not this year, to the cross guard because they're 7-year-old, 8-year-old standing crying. They don't know what to do. And the first thing they do is cross the street. You know that's a lost child. And it's our responsibility to make sure that that child that a trusting parent left in the corner for the cross guard to cross gets on each and every bus. We don't need a crossing guard in every corner. We do need crosswalks with orange lights, whatever. But these kids need to be taught. In certain areas you can cross, in certain areas you cannot. I understand the budget, but life is more precious than a budget. And I hope we can all see that for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Denise Ingui. I live at 333 Falmouth Avenue. Again, basically they have said everything that needs to be said about the bus. I have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old. They have what has been told to me by a woman on the Board of Education, the convenience of having a bus stop there for all those years. It's not convenient for me now to send them there. First of all, they've eliminated that bus stop completely and told my children that they would need to walk to Paul Court and East 54th Street. There's no sidewalk on one side of East 54th Street past all the woods, which means they would have to walk on this side of East 54th Street and cross at one of the worst intersections at that street ever. I've rectified my situation. I now drive my children back and forth to school because for me, their safety means everything. That crossing guard was there for 17 years. I developed a relationship with her. Kids brought hot chocolate. My husband's also a police officer in town. Not in town, I'm sorry, but we know a lot of the police officers in town. I don't know where the money comes from. All I know is that there's going to be a child killed this year if that situation is not fixed. Whether it be a parent, if we can do something to help, volunteering, I'm up for anything, just not keeping it the way it is now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
Hi, my name's Debbie Murphy, 46 Ackerman Ave, Elmwood Park. I am an ex-crossing guard of the borough. I read the community news yesterday. This Woodridge, very nice, as far as the crossing guards, school safety, crossing kids. I found this sad. Police department axes 10 crossing guards. I feel as though you do not care about the safety of our children. Nevertheless, the jobs of the crossing guards. I do work by Gilbert Ave School. I could tell you after school with the high school kids racing up, going through stop signs, we have little children running back and forth, and we are there to help them along. For the record, I would like to clarify some of the things that the community news pointed out with the information. Okay, it mentioned that crossing guards receive holiday pay. We do not. This is not true. According to the contract signed by the mayor, the guards are not entitled to any longevity, no holiday pay, or terminal illness pay. Okay, as far as unemployment, when we originally hired, this was a little perk that was mentioned, that the guards would be able to apply for unemployment benefits during the summer. According to unemployment, the Elmwood Park crossing guards do not show that we make enough money. Okay, maybe there are 4, maybe 5 posts in town that work 15, 20 minutes longer than the usual post. They might be able to collect unemployment. They are the only ones. So, and according to the employees at unemployment, to the best of their knowledge, Elmwood Park is the only town unable to receive any benefits, and we get no backing at all. As far as being on a crossing guard, we have no liaison to come to voice our grievances. We are a group of people that nobody wants to listen to. We've tried to voice our opinion to get together for the safety of kids to no avail. Also, in the article, it mentions as far as the yearly expenditures of $60,000 to $70,000. Okay, this amount paid for 18 crossing guards and possibly maybe even the substitutes. That's 18 guards, okay? My salary went for food on my table, haircuts for my son. As little as it was, that helped, and I was doing good for Elmwood Park, keeping our children safe. It gave us a sense of Elmwood Park pride. At this point, you just kind of ripped that pride right out. As far as the pension, okay, after a short length of time, the guards that were hired full-time were given the option to join the borough pension plan. The crossing guards pretty much get paid the same amount. Last year, I made $5,200, $5,200, working in the rain, snow, early in the morning, rushing to get there at 3 o'clock. I did it because I was proud of the town, keeping the children safe. I have a son in grammar school. It gave me a sense of being part of Elmwood Park. Okay, really, I would like to know, as far as this pension, what am I really going to get paid for $5,000 a year? I mean, right now, the new law changed. I couldn't even join a pension plan because we do not make $7,500 or above. So for our little peanuts, we were in this paper, it made it look like we were making a lot of money. All right? Lastly, as far as the community news, okay, these 18 guards, it claims that the town is paying $120,000 to $130,000. I really find it difficult. A lot of these crossing guards were not even in the pension plan. They're not even offering it to any of the new guards. And I just feel sad that the public servants, the people of the town, are just being ripped apart. I think this is a serious issue. I don't think all the facts were straight as far as the community news goes. Again, being a crossing guard, I didn't receive any holiday pay. The way they pay us is they take our lump sum and they divide it out for the weeks of the school year. Therefore, we show and we get paid less than what we really are entitled to. It looks like we may get holiday pay, but you know what? Our $14.45 is being stretched out the whole school year that we are not claiming and we are not showing what we actually make. We've gone over this with unemployment, saying of what we should make. We've gone over it to try to get it straightened out with the borough, as far as with Frank, with payroll. On our pay stubs, it does not state what we make. Nobody could even tell us what we make if we call up. So really, I did not receive any holiday pay. We are not entitled to unemployment, which was a nice little perk, which was taken away. I understand times are tough. We're all going through tough times. And I, too, have to put food on the table and help get my son dressed. And also, in reality, a $5,000 pay, how much do you think my pension is going to be when all is said and done? That's really all I have to say. The safety of the children, we are out there day in and day out in all kinds of weather, and I'm sure a lot of other people would not want to get up in a snowstorm, freezing rain, and we do it for our children, we do it for the town, and I just find it sad the way we were notified that we weren't even called in, nobody spoke to us. Unfortunately, we received a form letter in a mailbox, not even postage on it. I find it sad that nobody even spoke to us personally. As I said, for years we've wanted a liaison to come to have somebody stick up for us, somebody to bring up points or calm us down as a group, and nobody wants to talk to us. All we hear is, oh, we feel sorry for you, but sorry, we can't do anything. I understand, things are tough all the way around. We are all in the budget. This is a tough time. But I don't think our children should suffer. Unfortunately, no life is worth a price.
Thank you.
And by the way, the dress code, I think, is excellent. As a parent and seeing the children in school, it adds a lot. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
Elaine Scarpenti, 116 Mill Street in Elmwood Park. I am an axed employee of the crossing guards. I think that insulted me more than anything else, that word axed, okay? Mr. Mayor, would that have insulted you if someone called you an axed employee?
The council is not in charge of the school crossing.
I understand that completely,
I
but
do
the
think
word
they should-
"axe" was really not the proper word to use for people who guarded everyone's children.
The letter said axed?
Axe, A-X-X.
That was in a letter?
A-X-E-D. That was in the newspaper.
Well, we're not responsible for the newspaper.
Well, who told them about it?
We'll find out who told the newspaper about it.
Thank you. I'm not going to repeat what was just said by my colleagues and that lovely lady from the Board of Education, which I thank you very much, because the thing here is the safety of the children. When I was put on as a sub 5 years ago in September, I had the 15th Avenue posts, okay? Whenever somebody was out, I subbed for them. I saw 2 little boys get run over by a car right by that wooded area, okay? My heart was in my mouth. It still pounds when I think about it. I don't know if they were dead or alive, but I had my cell phone and I called 411 immediately, okay? It is the most horrendous street in the whole entire town, because I did stub for a very short time.
Excuse me, you have 4 minutes and we have to change the tape.
Okay. I received my letter at 11 o'clock on a Sunday evening telling me that my post was discontinued and I haven't got a job. That didn't bother me as much as the being axed did yesterday, okay? But and a week later, I got a letter from the police department that showed me my post was being filled by another person. And I phoned the police department and I said I would like to know why my post was filled and I was not asked to come back and take it. The answer that I was given was this man had more time in than I did, okay? But he doesn't live in Elmwood Park. He lives in Saddlebrook. All the other crossing guards, and even the ones who are still working, and the ones that were axed, live in Elmwood Park. 3 of us, about a year and a half ago, went to see, I think his name was Ray, the business manager of the police department or the town or whatever, and we asked him for a very, very minimal raise. And his answer to us was, the 3 of us, the people in Elmwood Park pay your salary with their taxes, and we don't want to put this burden on them. Well, this man who lives in Saddlebrook, he doesn't live in Elmwood Park. Why was my post taken away because someone who lives out of town? I would like to know the answer to that.
I'm going to have to wait. We have to change the tape now, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take a 3-minute break until he changes the tape. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to resume the meeting. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak? Hold on 1 minute. I see our clerk is. I didn't know he was missing.
We wouldn't want to forget Mr. Carmagna, would we? Richard Rudman, 1 Pearl Court. I'm sorry I was late coming to the meeting, but I did overhear one part that I feel needs to be addressed, and that is to say that you're not responsible for what the police department does. You provide the budget to the police department. The police department has to take those things into consideration. If you don't provide them enough money so that they can run their operation correctly, then it's a problem. I think you've heard from a lot of these people that are concerned about the crossing guards being missing, especially on East 54th Street. And I think some adjustment needs to be made so that these people can be brought back into their crossing guard positions.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard? If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Because I had some information that there would be some residents speaking about the crossing guard, we contacted our police chief, Don Grassolino, and he was kind enough to attend the meeting. I would like him, just keep in mind, please, the police department and police chief are responsible for the police department, the members of the police department itself, and the crossing guards. So it's a decision that's made with the police department, and he'll give us some reasons why he cut it, and anything else he wants to add. We also have Captain Diddick here also.
Can I just finish something?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
At the bottom of our letters that we were told that we were not coming back as crossing guards, there was a notice that, and they listed all our names, that they will keep us on a list as subs if needed, okay? Subs if needed means if there's a snowstorm, a rainstorm, any catastrophe that the original crossing guard does not want to stay on their post for that day, subs are called. When I called up to ask some questions, I was asked if I was going to be on the sub list, and I said no. If there is a rehire in the town, I would very much like to go back, especially to my original post, which is the 14th Avenue lot of 16th Avenue School, where I was taken off another post a year and a half ago by the request of the principal to the police department to be put on that post. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Chief Grassolino, do you have any comments you'd like to make? No, I closed the meeting. I'm sorry. I closed the meeting.
Okay. Yes. There's a couple issues, and I'll address them separately. First of all, just, I don't want to go into details budgeting-wise, but I think everybody knows what's going on. We've lost 5 police officers since our high, 1 this year, which we're not replacing. I suspect from our, talking with the CFO, we've talked about laying off police officers. There's been discussion. I know that they have not replaced 15 personnel in this building. And if you see what's going on in other towns, Garfield, Fairlawn, Saddlebrook, Rochelle Park, all laid police officers off. Well, that's not what's happened yet, because that's the old budget. What's going to happen is January 1st, when the 2% kicks in, it's going to be a lot more tragic. I think you're going to see a lot more. We don't know where we're going with that. Of course, the school year starts in the middle of the year. Their school year starts from July 1st. So yeah, we chose to do. I chose to do it then because we can't change things in the middle of the year. So first, I just want to address the budget so people realize what's going on with the 2% cap. It's going to be drastic cuts all over. And one of the things the governor said, everybody's going to share in the pain. Yeah, we're all going to share in the pain. We may lose some more police officers, maybe next year, maybe the year after. More than likely, the building department was just cut. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more cuts coming, but it's not just Elmwood Park. And actually, I got to say, I think in Elmwood Park we're probably in better shape, and that's why we haven't laid anybody off in Elmwood Park. Through attrition, we've lost people, and we haven't replaced, but there's nobody actually laid off before this, because I think, mayor and council's frugal. We don't hire a lot of people. We keep everything to the bone, but that doesn't mean we're going to lose, because there's no way that we're going to meet the criteria that's coming up in January. There's no way. And I had a lot of conversations with Arroyo sitting in the back, our CFO. There's a lot of things, the budgeting, 10 years ago we cut from 36 guards down to the 18. If we didn't, we'd be up around 750,000 now. And we would be cutting a lot more. But we cut some of the posts when I became chief. We had, at one time, we had posts where there was an elementary school. Like Cherry Hill School had a couple of posts there, and they kept them there. For what reason? I don't know. I don't think it was fair to the taxpayers, and they were doing 4 hours a day. So we were paying 4 hours, 5 days a week to have somebody watch the Cherry Hill School that was gone. The tunnel over Marginal Road, if anybody knows where that's at, was closed and sealed, but we had a guard there in case kids walked through. I don't know why, but I eliminated that one. And we eliminated half of the posts at that time. And there was no complaints. And it worked out pretty good. And some people were concerned that maybe someone would be hit or something. That didn't happen. So now we're at a crossroads. I don't know where all this is going, but I know that we're going to be making some drastic cuts. If you look in the papers, Garfield, a lot of towns have laid off crossing guards along with police officers. This is just the beginning. As far as I'm concerned, I think this is just the beginning of what's going to happen. As far as the complaints with the plan we came up with, it seems like East 54th Street seems to be the problem. And that's, as far as I know, and I have the captain here, and I asked him, he only got one complaint directly to the police department, and that was on East 54th Street. One of the things we talked about is, first of all, we have to look at where the buses are going. Maybe they don't have to pick the kids up on East 54th Street. Maybe they could be rerouted. I don't know. Like, maybe there's something else we could look at before we just put the crossing guards back. Maybe we'll have to put some back. I don't know. But we have to look at, other avenues before we just go out and say, well, let's just put, people complain, so we'll just throw 10 more, and maybe we'll lay you off some secretaries or something. Well, you got to understand that there's only one glass of water and it's filled, and the rest of the water's got to go someplace. And there's going to be some hard decisions made with the police department, with the council in the coming months. And everything's going to be cut, and not everything's going to be fun to cut. Just like the school, luckily you guys passed your budget, and you have the money there. Our budget's smaller, much smaller, and we don't have that luxury of passing a budget. And what the governor did, we have to live with, and that's just the beginning. Now, if state aid gets cut, and there's I know that there's different, like Markel, who appeals their taxes every year. Well, where does that money come from? We all live in town. We pay for it, but the governor says we can't raise the taxes. So if they want back $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, it's got to come from someplace. So yeah, if you think anybody wants to sit up here and lay anybody off, we don't. I'd like to go to the council this year and ask for the 5 police officers back, but they may be coming to me and say, let's lay 2 or 3 police officers off, and then we don't know where it's going to go. So I'm just trying to let everybody understand that nobody in this room has created this problem. It's come from someplace else. And the guy that's up there, he's dealing with what has happened over many years and caused the problem we're at. So we don't have any control over that. So we have to make some decisions. If there's a problem on East 54th Street, obviously we'll address that. We talked before, maybe we could meet, individually, not on camera, discussing individual posts for everybody to see. We don't want to advertise where children are. But on the other side of the coin, we could we'll talk about that. If we have to add some posts, Roy's here now, and we talked about it. I mean, we'll find some money someplace, I guess, if we have to. But that's last resort. I mean, if we could move bus stops around, maybe we need 2 more guards. Might solve the problem, or 1 more guard. I don't know. Maybe we don't need 5 on East 54th Street. Maybe we could do it too. I don't know. We have to look at where the kids are and where they're crossing. And I understand, people drop kids off and they don't want to leave them on East 54th Street. There's other streets that they cross, and I guess parents feel a little more comfortable on some of the side streets. I don't know, maybe the bus could turn the corner and they won't have to cross East 54th Street. If there's a reason why that can't be accomplished, then we have to look at that. And I know you guys have a coordinator over there. Maybe we could have a meeting with some of the parents, or the PTO, or whoever's available during the day, and we can discuss that. right away. I mean, we're available whenever, but if some people, they could leave us their number, we'll call them. We'll have, maybe the captain could take their number. We'll reach out. I don't want anybody to think like we're not cognizant of what's going on or we don't care about kids. They're number one to all of us. We all raise kids. I have grandchildren. We're worried about them. But at the same time, we have to work in certain parameters. So it's not like I can't go to the mayor and council and say, just give me another 50,000 or 100,000 and we'll solve the problem. Those days are gone. And even if they wanted to give it to me, there's no place for them to go for it. So, yeah, if we have to put 2 more guards on, we're going to have to do it, and we'll have to find some money someplace else somehow to displace that. Things are getting tough, and I just want everybody to understand that. It's not like we made this decision like, just save a couple of dollars, let's just lay people off. That's not the case. And even though it might not sound like $5,000 might not sound a lot, the reason I tell you from the beginning is we've been cutting, and over the years, we look at the budget every year. And when we're done with the budget, Roy, after meeting with the council, comes back and says, cut another 10%. And I'm like, I don't know, this year we bought 1 less police car. Next year, maybe we buy no police cars. Fuel, we have to put fuel in the cars. There's certain things we have no control over, so we cut the few things that we have left. But obviously, we're not going to do it if it's going to jeopardize people's lives, especially kids. But there might be another way. And I think one of those mentioned maybe some people could volunteer. That'd be great if we had a couple of mothers or somebody who could do it. Maybe the insurance would cover it for the borough. I don't know. We'd have to look into that. I mean, that'd be a great thing because we may be coming back to volunteerism. I had discussions with other towns where they have paid fire departments. They're talking about going to all volunteers now because people can't afford it. We can't afford to have paid services as much anymore. So maybe that's another idea. I don't know, but I think we can move right away. We can meet outside of this forum, and I'm sure Roy's here. He's on his time here too because he's concerned. But we'll go back and look at the budget. If we have to add 1 or 2 guards, maybe we could do that. Can we just go back and add 10 guards? I don't know. I don't know if we have to. Not every spot is necessary. Every corner in a town like Elmwood Park, to a certain extent, yeah, they're all dangerous. But obviously we don't have, and one gentleman said, it's kids' travels. There's certain streets that they're going to have to cross. Obviously we can't have a crossing guard on every street. And that's one of the things we looked at. There's always pressure for us to add guards. Last year, Gantner Avenue, they wanted another guard there. The principal came, Mr. Tomko came, because a couple of others said, they felt that section's bad. But we have to draw the line someplace. And like the mayor said, it's my decision. But it's not. I'm not going to make a decision where it's going to hurt kids, of course. But at the same time, I have to work with what's given us, and we can't afford to have that many guards. We have to cut someplace. If we have to add a couple, and that's the only way out. But I have to make sure that there's not some other alternative. And like I said, maybe we can reroute some of the buses. I don't know. Maybe the buses can pick some of the kids in front of their house. I don't know.
Chief, if I could interrupt you a minute.
Sure.
From what I gather, you're indicating that maybe. You need a few more days to contact the Board of Education. Give us, maybe we can set up a meeting with the council on Wednesday or Thursday. We have to advertise. And you can give us a background as to why some of the guards were eliminated. If there's only 1 child there, you didn't need a guard. Why don't you try to prepare some of that for us?
Well, like I said, if we can meet with a couple of concerned parents, because I want to see what their side of it is. Maybe the crossing someplace we can eliminate it by moving a bus.
Whatever you
or
have
something.
to do.
If we could do that, we'll do it. If we can't, then I'll come back with. If we have to add a couple of guards, we talked about that before. We may have to. We knew going into this that it may work or it may not. We're trying our best, but we're going to try to eliminate as many as possible. Yes, if we have to add a couple, we'll do that. But there may be some other avenues to explore first. And if we can do that, save the borough some money, we'll do it.
One of the things that I want to say is that the budget we have has money in it for school crossing guards till January. I think the chief was being proactive by doing it now rather than wait till January 1 and say, listen, the school crossing guards here and here are being eliminated. But we have to look at it as any money that's being saved from now till January is going to help us with the budget again next year. So why don't we do this? Why don't we have our police chief and the captain meet with some of the people from the audience who wants to meet with them? So the school crossing guards, the Board of Education, and we can have our clerk, Mr. Kazmark, set up a meeting for next week. either at our work meeting or before that. This may be lengthy, so I don't want to take time, and we'll discuss it again. You can look it over, and if you feel strongly that a guard isn't needed, that's perfectly fine. If something can be worked out where you have one student there, maybe we can just send a police officer there for 15 minutes and cross, whatever you decide. Okay? So we're going to do that, and my apologies on behalf of the chief and the council if anybody was offended, anybody was frightened, and we understand that. But we are going to be dealing with a $300,000 to $400,000 cut for next year to make the budget. And as Mr. Conboy and I said earlier in this meeting, we've eliminated as many people as we can over the years here, and we're looking at the police department and DPW possibly to save some money. $300,000 is a lot of money. We're not going to save it by nickel and diming it here and there. There's going to have to be some big movements made, and I appreciate the police chief's comment that this council has been proactive over the years. We did not have to lay anybody off this year. We don't want to lay anybody off next year. Jobs are tough to come by, so we're going to try to do whatever we can to keep someone working here, maybe reduced hours or something, but we have to make the governor's cut, and we're going to try to do our best to do that. So I want to thank the chief for coming, and you'll contact Mr. Boncino or Mr. Kazmark, the clerk, probably faster contacting our clerk, and we can set a meeting up.
Okay, Mayor, I just want to say, as far as the one comment about the newspaper, just so you know, I don't know how the newspaper got the information. I got a call from the gentleman from the newspaper. He said he saw something on a wire, whatever that means, and he asked me about it. And I guess he made some other phone calls and talked to some people. Unless somebody called him, I don't know. So I don't know where that came from or his terminology. But that, you know, and we all talk to the papers a lot, and I can tell you that it doesn't always come out the same.
I would just like to indicate that some of the items that were mentioned in the paper are not part of the contract, unemployment, pensions, and all that. But we'll try to work all that. So thank you very much. Does any councilman have any questions? Okay, then we'll wait on you to get back to us, and we'll move. All right? I think we'll move to do that and see if we can resolve the problem. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Before I close the meeting, I would just like everyone here to remain seated for a minute. This past 9/11, we had the 9th anniversary of the World Trade Center collapse, and I'd like a moment of silence for everyone who lost their lives in that tragic incident. So if I may. Thank you very much. That destruction of those two towers is an eye-opener for the United States of America. We all tend to forget. I did see on television some of the film of the original collapse of the tower, and you do tend to forget. And when you see what happened, people jumping out of the buildings, it's an eye-opener. It's a reminder. We all have to be on our guard to see that this doesn't happen again. And I would hope that people in the world would understand that and respect our lives as well as theirs. Thank you, and may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Conboy and Mr. Boncino, all in favor? Opposed? So ordered.